There are so many reasons to love bees. Today we're going to do 8 bee DIY crafts. One of those arrow summer signs, I'm going to take it apart, and it comes off really easy, by the way. They're just staples, and I did sand down where the little staple holes were. I didn't need to fill anything in. It wasn't very deep. And then I'm going to use my little ladybug vacuum cleaner to clean it up, and that's in my Amazon store in the description box below. And now I'm just going to figure out how I could turn this into a little bit of a picket fence. So I'm going to take some skewers just to create spacers between each of the arrows, try to get them even. Then I realize, oh, I want the other side to be the front. So I'm going to end up turning it over, and I'm going to use these shims. They have like a narrow end and a thick end. So I'm going to take 2 for each one. I'm going to figure out how long they need to be. I'm measuring that. I'm going to cut them with my miter shears, also down in my Amazon store. Very cool tool, by the way. And I'm going to glue the 2 pieces together to make a whole piece. And then I'm going to put them across the front of my fence and hot glue those down. And it actually, once I figured out what I really wanted to do, it went really easy. It was just deciding what I wanted to do. That's always the problem. I just have so many ideas. Now I'm going to sand the top of each of those pieces that I put together, and there I am hot gluing. So basically I'm putting, you can see the narrow side with the wide side and so forth, and then it makes a solid piece. And then I will hot glue those directly to the top. And once they're down, I can remove those spacers. I don't know if you noticed, I did not glue where the spacers are going to be, because that's going to be my little gaps in the fence. I'm going to use my sanding sponge from the Dollar Tree and just make sure that all the edges are smooth and that there won't be any splinters. Then I'm going to use my Waverly chalk paint in the color Maize, which is just a yellow, and I'm going to cover the entire fence. The front, those crossbars, the edges, not the back, though. I'm going to paint that a different color, and it takes me about 2 coats to get this completely covered. I've got this really pretty scrapbook paper, and I'm just going to cut a piece to cover the top of each of those crossbars. That's all I want for this one. And once those are cut out, I'm going to use some of my Aleene's decoupage, and I'm going to put that, it's just like Mod Podge, by the way. I'm going to apply that to the crossbars so that I can lay down the scrapbook paper. And then I'm going to use my brayer over the top and then coat the top again with the decoupage solution. I have some letter stickers from the Dollar Tree, and I'm going to get out the ones that I need. I'm going to be spelling out the word bee and crossing. So on this fence, it's just going to say bee crossing. And then I also got these super cute little bee stickers from Michaels, and I'm going to apply them all over. But before I do that, I also have another piece of scrapbook paper that looks like little honeycombs. So I'm going to cut it out at different angles to kind of create little honeycombs, and I'm going to adhere them using the decoupage solution, which I'm doing right there, and put the bees on it so it looks like they're in the hive, kind of. You'll see what I mean. So then I'm just going to be putting bees all over the place, because if it's a bee crossing, there will be a lot of bees. And then once I get all the bees down, I'm going to cover everything with the decoupage solution just to make sure that nothing comes up again later. I'm going to be using my Kills white primer paint that I use all the time for the back side, and it's going to take 2 or 3 coats. And then after that's done, I'm going to take some rope, I'm going to hot glue it down and use my masking tape like I always do and secure it. And I'm loving how this one turned out. It's super cute. Let me know what you think. Off Hobby Lobby special piece. I got this piece for $4.49, I think it was. Oh my gosh, I think it was like $20 to begin with, and it's beautiful just as it is. Honestly, if you bought this, you could just leave it just like this. It says we gather here. There'd be no reason not to just keep it. But of course, I painted that inner portion of this cutting board black. Now I'm going to put Mod Podge all across it to seal it. I am going to draw like a beehive shape, but like where the top is almost open like a vase. So I'm going to take my rope, twine, whatever you want to call it. Like I said, sometimes when it's in between size, I'm not sure which one it is. But either way, I'm going to go ahead and start hot gluing all the way around the shape that I drew. And I did draw that circle toward the bottom of the inside of it, which is like the opening of the beehive. But this is going to be like a beehive vase. So we're going to go ahead and glue and just keep going around and around until we fill the whole thing except the circle with this twine or rope. And I'm just going to keep going until I have to cut off pieces that are a certain size that will fit. And you can see here, now I'm going to go ahead and close off that circle because I'm not going to be able to keep going around. I've already hit the bottom of it. And so now I'll just keep going back and forth until I fill in the rest of it. Super easy. You just keep gluing and, adding your larger twine. And then I just cut off some of the edges because I didn't want to keep going around in a circle in this case. So now I'm going to fill in the rest of it. Hey, Bestie, thank you so much for being here. It's so nice to have you, and it's so great to read your comments. I don't always get to them immediately, but I promise I will get to every single one of them. I love responding to you. I love hearing what you say, and I love when you interact with each other and pray for each other and just are there as a community for each other. Honestly, you are awesome, and I really appreciate and love each and every one of you. Now that I've got this filled in, I'm going to add some sunflowers. I've cut them down to the size I want, and I'm just going to put them in at different heights. So I've got some yellow ones, I've got white ones, and I'm just going to continue to add these in until it looks like this beehive is a vase full of sunflowers, and I just think it's so beautiful. I'm going to add a little twine or rope hanger to the top, doing a lark's head knot to attach it. And then I'll just add a little knot at the top. Very easy way to make a hanger and give it that kind of rustic farmhouse look. And now I'm just going to draw two little bees. Now this was super easy. I took my maize chalk paint and I made two little almond shapes, or actually I did three little almond shapes. Then I took a black marker and I did little heads on them coming into the almond shape. And I know you can hardly see that because there's black in the background, but it does kind of work out in the end. Now I'm going to draw the little lines across the bee bodies on all three of them. Then I'm going to take a little bit of white paint on a very fine art brush and just dab it to make wings on each side of the little bees. Now tell me, they are not the cutest little bees. Oh my gosh. Now once it dried, I put Mod Podge over it to seal it. And that's it. I think this is so cute. If you had little bee stickers, you could do that instead. I just thought, I'm going to paint these. I bet this would be really easy to do. Anyway, please let me know what you think. I really do love this one. Our nest is Best sign from the Dollar Tree, and this cute little dish towel I got at the Air Force Base in Dayton. And it's so cute. I'm going to trace around the outside of the sign so I can cut out the cute part of the dish towel. So there it is. It's a little mason jar that says Honey Queen Bee. I'm going to fray the edges by pulling some of the threads all of the way around it. This is going to be a pretty easy DIY. Once I get all the edges pulled, I am going to paint the sign in my Kills white primer just because I don't want to be able to see anything, and the back side I want to be white so it's finished. And then you see how it fits right over the top. I'm going to take a little cutting mat and I'm going to cut each one of those lines across, so again like they're little planks, and then I will reattach them to the sign in pieces so that they look like they're individual pieces of wood. I just like that look. It's really cool and very farmhouse. Now if you notice there's a little twine bow on there. I want to take it off because I'm going to use it a little bit later in this DIY. I am going to attach each of these individual pieces after I fray the new edges with my decoupage solution. I just want them to stick right on there. And then I decided that it needed to be distressed a little bit, so I'm going to use a little teeny bit of my steel Waverly chalk paint, and I'm just going to go around the edges in the back. And then I'm going to come in with a really thin brush, and I'm going to do at the edges of every one of those little planks too. So I'm going to let you watch me do all of that. Oh yeah, and somewhere in the process, part of the E came off of the embroidery there. So I just used a little black marker and I kind of made dots to complete the letters. So that's all fixed now. once I finish all the distressing that I think it's going to need, I'm using this super cute ribbon that I got, and I'm not even sure, maybe Walmart. And the pink matches the pink on the mason jar, so I'm just going to put a piece of that ribbon across the bottom. And then I'm going to make a little shoestring bow out of it, and then take the little twine bow that I found earlier that was already on the little towel, and I'm going to attach that to the middle of this bow, and then I'm going to put them up to the left side at the top of the little mason jar, and that's it. And I just love how this one turned out. I really think this one is cute. You'll have to let me know what you think. This could just sit on a shelf, but I put a hanger on it with a little rope with the hot glue and the masking tape because you never know, might want to hang it up on the wall. % off piece. I've got this piece that was only $2.49. Look at how cute this is. Oh my gosh. And then I've got some scrapbook paper that I had in my stash. And what I'm going to do is just take my Maze Waverly chalk paint and I'm going to paint over that whole inside and cover up the cute little design that was in there. It looks like it was for a boy's room. And now I'm just going to take my scrapbook paper, put it over the edge and kind of rub it along the ends of the piece so that I can know where to cut. It kind of creates like an indent. I was going to try to do it with a pencil, but that really didn't work. So you just kind of rub and hold it in place, and now you can cut it out with your scissors, and then you'll only have like minimal trimming to make sure that it fits right. It's really hard to get that perfect the first time. So you put it in and you take it out and you kind of fold it in so you can see where else you need to cut. You see how I'm pushing it in against the edges? I mean, you could also do that and then use a blade and cut it out, but sometimes that isn't as clean of a cut. So I'm just going to go ahead and I'm going to take it out and then recut it afterwards. I think I have a little bit left after I do this, but I do use a blade at that point. So now I'm just going to do portion of it with the Mod Podge, lay it down, and then lift up the other side. That way I can smooth it as I go. So now I'm going to just smooth it, come around to the other side and put some more Mod Podge down until the whole thing is adhered. And then I'm going to take my brayer and really make sure that it is just down there really well. And there's that little part I ended up doing with a blade. Now I am going to put a little bit of rope in there and just kind of cover those edges because my blade needed to be a little sharper, I guess, or maybe it wasn't quite dry and it kind of pulled on it a little. So that was an easy fix, just to add a little bit of the rope or twine in there. Now you see I've got a picture on my phone of a bee. I'm going to take a pencil and while looking at it, I'm going to draw it. I'm not an artist, but when I do this, I can usually get it pretty close. So now I'm going to go over it with a black permanent marker, all the parts that I need to color black. It was just easier with a fine tip like that to be able to do it. So as I go, I'm just trying to be really careful. I've sped this up, so obviously I am not doing it that fast. I'm not that good. Anyway, you take as long as you need, and then I'm just going to add these little lines to make it look like the bee is in motion. I'm going to take my Maze colored chalk paint and I'm going to color in the bee, and then I'm going to use my plaster and color in the wings. I just thought that would make it really cute. And I'm using a very fine point art brush. It's easier if you do that, you know, and then I'm going to add a few accents here and there with the white just to give the bee a little more of a three-dimensional feel to it. This is actually much easier than you might think to do while you're looking at a picture. I think it's so adorable. And that was all there was to this one. I think it came out so cute. I love it. I like bees when they're in pictures. I don't like them when they're near me. I mean, they're great for the environment, but I'm not a big fan of getting stung. What do you think? Have you ever been stung by a bee? Actually only one of these little signs with the butterfly and the little pom-poms on the side, which I do take off using my little Cricut spatula. Okay, they come right off. And these are from the Dollar Tree. And then I sand down the sides, and they still have a little bit left over, but I'm going to cover that with a little bit of my decoupage solution. I've got this scrapbook paper and I just want to get a square to cover the top of the sign. So I'm going to cut this yellow one out. It has that kind of beehive look and I just really like it. So I'm going to take that square and I'm going to attach it to the very top of my box. And I will run my brayer across the top so I can make sure I don't get any wrinkles or bubbles. I'm going to also add some of that solution to the sides where I ripped off the pom-poms to smooth it out a bit. I'm going to use my square so I can decide how far apart I can make my lines. I want to make little planks, like shiplap lines. And I'm going to do that in pencil. And since I have this technique, and I've been trying it a few times, where you put it on with pencil, you get your fingers a little wet and you kind of smudge it. And then it really does give that sense of like a cut plank. And I really like it. It's super easy to do too. And I'm using a nail file from the Dollar Tree just to get that extra little piece of scrapbook paper off the edge that hung over a teeny bit. And now I'm using that maize color again from Waverly, and I'm going to do all 4 sides. It takes a couple coats to cover. And then I'm going to use the side of my nail file to extend that line all the way around both sides so that it really does look like those are pieces of wood. I felt like I wanted to accentuate the lines even more, so I got my steel colored chalk paint out and I just lightly went over and then actually wiped it off a little bit and smudged it, and that kind of gave me a little more of what I needed. I think my pencil was too sharp. I needed it to be a little bit less blunt, and then I would have gotten a thicker line. And now I went too far on the side, so I'm covering it back up with the yellow paint. You just go back and forth till you get what you want. Now I'm going to use these Dollar Tree rub-on transfer letters, and I'm going to spell out Be Happy. And I'm just figuring out where I'm going to put my little bee. I got that at Michael's. Isn't that the cutest bee ever? So I'm just going to scratch on those letters until I get them all put on the way I want. I'm going to add my decoupage solution all over the top so that my letters stay on forever. I'm going to add craft paper to the back and just hot glue it to the edges. And then I'm going to attach my bee, and I'm going to use a combination of Gorilla Glue and hot glue. The bee is a little heavy, so I need to make sure that it stays put. So I'm going to put a lot of Gorilla Glue and hot glue. Really loving this little sign. I think it would look really cute on a tiered tray or just on a shelf. It's adorable. Hobby Lobby 75% off item. I've got this piece for $1.49. It's a nice solid wood piece shaped like a square, but it has mountains at the top, which doesn't matter because we're going to change that. So I'm going to take off the hanger and the beads, and I'm just going to paint the entire top black to cover what's on there because we're doing a kind of a bee themed video, of crafts, not a mountain type theme. So now I'm just going to put the hanger back after the paint dries, and I'm going to change the beads out for some yellow and white ones because we want that color scheme for this project. And I had those already in my stash left over from some Dollar Tree beads that I had gotten on like a little medallion thing. So I'm just going to knot the hanger, add the beads, and then make another knot at the top. This is so cute and easy to do. And if you don't have those color beads, you can just paint some natural color beads or do it whatever color that you want. Now I'm going to take this sunflower that I got, I believe at Dollar Tree, and I'm just going to cut off the pointy ends. But first I'm going to take some Mod Podge before I put that on because I want to seal that paint, and I almost forgot to do it. So I just want you to see sometimes I forget things and then I remember them. Anyway, I'm going to put a generous amount of hot glue on the back of the sunflower, and I'm going to put it towards the bottom of that sideways square. And then I'm going to add the leaves right to the side of it, which I think is really pretty. I like to add the leaves after. I don't like to keep them on there. It's just nice to be able to place things exactly where I want, maybe not just the way they came. Now I've got this cute little bee, which is on the back of a Dollar Tree calendar, and then there's another one. And so I'm going to cut them out. I'm just going to fussy cut those until they are as close to the actual bee as possible. And then I'm going to glue those on. Well, actually, I'll use Mod Podge to do it, but I'm going to attach those on there so it looks like there's a couple bees flying around the sunflower. And then once I get those on, I will cover that with Mod Podge as well, just to seal it even more. I love adding little things like this where it kind of gives it that almost three-dimensional feeling, like there's something else going on there, that it's movement. That's what I guess I would say. Feels like actual movement on the piece. And I just love that. Now you could also draw your little bees or get little bee stickers. I didn't have any, but I do have these cute little teeny sunflowers that I got at Dollar Tree. I'm just going to unravel them, and I'm going to take 3 of them off, and I'm just going to add them on as like a little extra piece of decor on the left side, just to balance it a little, because I had the bees kind of on the right side. I felt like it just needed something else. And because, you know, you do things in threes or odd numbers, I'm going to go ahead and do that. Hey, if you haven't already subscribed to my channel, I hope you will consider sticking around, subscribing, so I can see you again in the next video. Thank you in advance if you decide to do that. And that's it. This one is finished. I love it. I think it's so cute. It's so festive and bright. Let me know what you think. Lobby 75% off craft. I've got this cute little honey jar for $1.99, and it came even with a little wooden stirrer for the honey. And then I've got my little mini sunflowers, some maize chalk paint, and some black paint. I thought that maybe using my masking tape to kind of tape this off to paint just the little portions would be the best way. To be honest with you, if you're just really slow and careful, I don't think you really do need to tape it. You just need to have a small fine tip brush and take your time. So I did tape this one, and it came out pretty good actually, but it just takes forever to tape it just to get it right, especially on a round thing. And I still had to scrape off extra paint too. So when I got to the next part, I didn't tape it. Now I'm also going to do some black on the top and the second little stripe of the little, what are those called? The little honey server. I don't know exactly. There's probably a special name for it. Now I'm going to take the maize chalk paint. I'm going to paint those 2 other little pieces on the honey server, as we're going to call it. And then I'm just going to, like I said, go ahead and do this color on the honey jar without using tape, because I can clean it up so easily. So there it is. I did the stripes on the top and the bottom. Now I'm going to take a little bit of thicker twine, and I'm just going to put it wherever there's a seam where I painted, and that covered up kind of any mistakes that I made as I was going. I did touch it up just a little bit just to be on the safe side. And so once it dried, that's when I attached the twine. So I'm going to put it in 2 different places, between the yellow and the black, and at the ends of the yellow. And there it is. I think that looks super cute to do it that way, but I love that you can still see through it. So now I'm going to take the little sunflowers. I'm going to get rid of the little wires on them. I'm going to use 3 of them. And I'm going to hot glue them right to the top of, you know, kind of the front of that cute little honey jar. I just think sunflowers and honey just seem to go together for me. Because I think of bees and sunflowers because they're always with each other. It seems like they must really get a lot of great pollen out of the sunflowers. Isn't that cute? Those teeny little sunflowers are so adorable. And then I'm just going to take a little bit of the rope, twine, whatever you want to call it, and I'm going to make a cute little shoestring bow. And I'm going to put that on the little honey server just for fun. I'm not sure if I'm even really going to use this. I kind of like it for decor, and you could even put something else in it if you wanted to. I don't like to keep honey open like that. I keep it in a sealed container, and this one doesn't have a seal at the top, so that's why I wouldn't do it. Anyway, I'm just going to attach that cute little bow, and then I'll cut off the excess on the tails of the bow. I love this item because for $1.99, I got 2 pieces for the 1 price, which you can't beat. The 75% off clearance items that they always have at Hobby Lobby are excellent. You just have to go looking for them. It's so worth it. Anyway, let me know what you think of this one. I love it. Farmer's Market calendar from Dollar Tree, and I'm going to use the page that has the honeybee on it. And I'm going to use a piece of cardboard. It was just a box that I had. I'm going to cut off the bendy parts with a blade, and I'm going to make it slightly bigger than the actual calendar page. And what I'm going to use is something I got from burlapfabric.com. It's a faux brown leather. It is so cool. It's a huge piece of fabric, and I'm going to cut out a square just slightly bigger than my cardboard, and then I am going to take each corner, fold it up and hot glue it, and then I'll come back and fold all the sides in so that I can get a nice square out of it. And if you're wondering why I covered the entire piece of cardboard, well, I didn't think about this till after the fact. I could have just cut out strips for what would really show and save some of that faux leather. My bad. I didn't even think of it till after the fact. Now that I've covered my piece of cardboard, I'm going to take my calendar page and I'm going to use a glue stick from the Dollar Tree, and I'm just going to cover the entire thing generously in the glue stick. And then I'm going to press it down onto my faux leather. And I'm even going to use my little brayer, which is in my Amazon store. It's a great tool for adhering things to surfaces when you've used glue or any kind of adhesive. It's really good at getting out wrinkles and bubbles, and not to say that you'll never get them, but it really helps quite a bit. I have this really pretty ribbon from the Dollar Tree. It's burlap with lace going down the middle, and I'm going to put one strip of it across the side over that kind of burlap in the print of the calendar page. I thought, I have real burlap, why not do that and make it more textured and three-dimensional? So I'm hot gluing that right on there, and I'm going to secure it on both sides and then on the back to make sure that it's nice and attached. I have another ribbon from the Dollar Tree. It's just lace, and I'm going to put it over the two corners on the right side of my picture here, just to kind of set off the corners a little bit. And I'm going to attach that on the back at the angle so that it goes diagonal across each corner. And then I'm going to take one long piece and put it next to the other ribbon, just covering that end so that all four corners actually do have the lace on them. Now I want this sign to look old and worn, so I'm going to take my Antique Wax by Waverly and I'm going to use a baby wipe, and I'm just going to start by doing the edges and over the lace, and then I realize it's almost just too light in the middle, so I'm just going to do the whole thing, and I go crazy, and but I lightly rub. I'm not going that crazy, just a little crazy. I ordered these upholstery tacks off of Amazon, and they'll be in my Amazon store. They are so beautiful, and this is the perfect project for it. So I'm going to poke them into each of the four corners, add a little bit of hot glue underneath the actual tack, and then later I'll come back and I'll clip off the pointy edge on the back. But how pretty is this? Oh my gosh, I am loving this look so much. Now I've got these skewers. They're the very narrow skewers from the Dollar Tree, and I'm going to use 4 of them, and I'm going to outline the piece of paper that is the calendar sign, and I'm going to use the antique wax again, and I'm going to stain them, and then I will measure and use my little snips and cut off the edge, make sure that I dip the end into the wax so it doesn't look like a different color, and I'm going to hot glue them down all the way around the entire calendar page. Now, the ones on the top and bottom, I have to poke underneath the ribbon, as you see me doing there, and then I go ahead and hot glue it. And then I'm going to add one last piece over between the two ribbons on the left side. And here's a close-up of me snipping the pointy end of the upholstery tack. Now I'm using a little piece of rope and I'm hot gluing it to the back, and then I'm going to take a piece of masking tape while the glue is hot and put that right over the top. That just really secures that rope down. And then I've cut a piece of craft paper and I'm going to hot glue it to the back and trim the edges of that so that it's a nice finished piece. In order to get my little rope hanger out, I'm going to take my blade and just cut around where the rope is, and then I'm going to pull it through, and then this one is done, and I'm really happy with it, and I hope you guys like it too. Are you ready for more inspiration? I've got another video here I think you will really like. Click on it. I will see you there. You are truly a blessing to me. Bye.